Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and put together another video. This time we're going to be installing OEM Ducati heated grips on this 23 Ducati V2 Streetfighter. So let's come over here and let me show you. There is part number, and here is what's with the kit. So basically you get a whole new throttle assembly. And one thing I just remembered as soon as I opened it up and saw it, that I'm going to have to change out the little spacers we put in to take out the slack in the throttle assembly. Here is the clutch side. So basically it's a whole new grip. So it's a hard grip. You can see the wire coming out. Then over here is all the different spacers. So basically you got to choose a spacer, and then these are to actually hold the cabling on the bars. So it comes with 4 of those. So another thing I've done is, let's go over on this side, downloaded a PDF of the service manual, which shows you everything you need to do as far as for install. This is basically OEM service manual. So with this one, they literally put every single model in this PDF. So the V2 Streetfighter starts at page 40. Okay, just to show you the first steps that we're going to do here. One is removing the fuel tank right-hand cover. So basically the cover on the right-hand side of the bike. Next is we're going to be removing the headlight. And third, we're going to remove the brake fluid expansion reservoir, and it's going to be on the right hand side. Along with that, we kind of skipped a step, but we went ahead and just for now went ahead and removed the bar ends on both sides. So let's get to it. Okay, just wanted to clarify one more thing. Let's go ahead and we're going to be removing the side radiator cover. Then we're going to be removing the side, basically body part that's right next to on the right side of the tank. And then we're also going to drop down the headlight. So make sure you put a towel over the front fender so that way it can rest down there unless you're going to take it completely off. And the reason why we're taking all this is the next step. We're not taking off the brake reservoir. I mistakenly said that. We take out basically the radiator fill, which is the radiator fluid expansion chamber, which is this whole piece. So in order to get to this, there's 3 bolts, and then that just comes off. We're not taking it completely off the bike, we're just kind of remove it so we can get access. Alright, so just wanted to show you how to get the side piece off. This is the first piece that comes off. So basically you do this 3mm screw, take that out. So I've already undone it, and then this pops out. Now hold right in the middle, and you can see there's 3 places where it clips in, 3 spots. So just go ahead and be real careful. You can see in this one, in another video that I'll be putting up, we actually wrapped it so it's a matte black. So that's why you see how this looks. So the next piece to come off after this radiator guard is this side piece up here, which is right in front of the gas tank. And there are, let me see how it fits in. There are 3, 1, 2, and 3, or excuse me, 1, 2, and 3 bolts that go in there, and they're the standard, same size as the rest. They're a little 3mm. So this thing just literally pops off. Now when you take it off, pay attention, there is a hook piece right here, and that is about the only thing you really need to worry about when you're taking it on or off, just to make sure this doesn't break. So that's about it. Next we're going to be removing this panel, which there are 2 screws on the very top right here and here. Okay. All right guys, so we need to take this whole panel off, and I wanted to show you first this pain in the butt screw that's way up in here. So I have the light shining on it so you can kind of see it. It's this guy. I'll kind of point the end of it. So it's right there, If you have a long Allen, you can kind of sneak up and get to it if you have like a ball end. Otherwise, you have to use little short ones to get to it. So that's the first one that needs to come out. Okay, then there are 2 screws right here. Now be real careful with these 2. You can see there is a little plastic washer, and these are the only 2. Actually, any red or painted body part has the plastic washer. Make sure you don't lose those when you take them off, and put them back on as well. That's what protects the paint. So like I said, there's 2 there that come out. Then there is 1 there and 1 there. And those are the last of them. Then you can go ahead and remove this whole body panel. All right, so when removing this panel, let me go ahead and shine a light on it. There is a tab right here that goes on the inside of this piece, and then you'll have 1 screw, and there's another tab that's inside the side right here. So that one's tucked in, this one's tucked in. These 2 with the actual bolts are the ones that are on the outside. So when you have those all off, this just pops out just like that. Okay, so once we got the panel off, then we need to remove the expansion chamber, basically the radiator coolant reservoir. There are 3 3mm bolts right there, and right there. And then once those are out, then this just drops down. Make sure these are secure on both sides, and then you could hang it with a little bungee cord, but this thing is actually pretty light, and these are pretty secure, so I'm just going to let it hang. Okay, so once this reservoir is hanging down, this is actually the connector, the gray one right here we need to get to. So we'll need a pair of dikes, we'll cut that and remove it and get to the other connectors that are there in that area. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start the removal process for the connector that goes for the stock throttle. And it's all right here in this area, so it's to the right of the ECU, right below the gas tank in the front. You're going to see this little connection. You look for the gray connector. You just got to move these out of the way, and then you just release this connection from the base. If it's hard to do, I actually bought this tool right here, which is just specifically made for doing these types of connectors, so it really comes in handy. I had to wait like 6 months to get it, but I got it. Next after that, if you look over here, there are this, you can kind of follow it. So basically you follow this connection, and it's this piece right here. So you're going to cut that wire tie, and then we're going to pop this whole headlight assembly down and then get to the rest of the connections. Alright, so in order to get the headlight assembly off, you'll have 2 10mm nuts with washers that are down on the bottom right here. Take those off on both sides, and then all you need to do is grab this and lift up. Now first, before you do it, make sure you have a cover over the front fender, because that's what it's going to lean on. So you just lift up, and you basically have 2 rubber grommets that go into here. So it's basically those 2 and the 2 nuts, and that's all it is. So now you can go ahead and take it and just set it down. Okay, so if we're following the gray up, it's this one right here. It goes up through, so there's a rubber, kind of a rubber wrap, and it has 2 little latches right here. So I'm using this tool. It has a hook on the end, and basically you just go around it, and you can easily, one-handed, I'm trying to hold light with the other hand, get one side, and you can kind of see how they kind of go together. Right here, that just goes over this side. There's another one up there, and then that releases it, and then you have 1 zip tie that's also right here, and that gives us access, and then we have an additional one up here, and then we can get all the way up to the top. Alright, the next step I wanted to show you, I'll show you on the instructions. Basically, remove the bar ends. So you remove that screw and you remove the balancing weight, and then that whole assembly just comes right out, and then you have the bars. So in order to get the bars, zoom down here, there's actually 2 screws on the very bottom that you have to remove those. That allows you to get the whole assembly, and you slide the whole assembly off. Okay, so you want to remove the 2 inner screws, the ones that are closest to the gas tank. This is what they look like. Basically, it's just an Allen. You want to make sure you have the right Allen head that goes with the screw. Once you remove those 2, then you can separate the housing like so. And you can see in here, I already have the throttle spacers. So you basically have one there and then the other one right there. Those are the 2 pieces, which takes out all the slop. So I'm going to have to transfer these to the new one. Once you have that, like I said, once you have this cover off, this piece just slides out. So this indentation right here is what goes into that hole on the bar. So when this is here, this goes down, this piece locks into here. That's what keeps your assembly from rotating and sliding off. Okay, so in order to get this off, remember we have this disconnected down here. This slides through, so remember how this goes through. So just think of it as it's going in between the forks and the body, just like the other ones, and it's going right next to the braided line. This pulls out. Now you have it free. Then this whole assembly can slide off like so. And this goes on the inside of this one. Like so. And it's out. Okay, so here is the stock assembly that we took out. And I wanted to show you, I actually took it apart right here and I removed the 2 spacers. These are basically to eliminate any throttle stop. If you haven't researched and or put these in yet, I would highly recommend you do. These run about $33 or so. A lot of places you can get them online. I think I got them at Moto Million, but a lot of places have them. And by putting these on, it eliminates all the slop in your electronic throttle and is a game changer. It's like night and day. So get these on. So here is the new assembly, the heated grip assembly on the throttle side. You can see it has obviously the same connection here, but it also has the additional connector, which is for the heated element. So it comes with 2 additional screws, brand new screws. So you can take the other screws, put them back in here, make this assembly complete. Now we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws again, put the assembly on the bar, and start running the wires and get it connected. Alright, so this is the new heated grip assembly. You can see with the double wire out. I went ahead and transferred the throttle spacers that you can see, both the big one and the small one, onto the new assembly. So now this piece goes on, and then we have our 2 Allen screws that screw in from the bottom, and then we'll start running all the wires. Alright, so the next step was we need to remove the grip on the passenger side, on the clutch side, on the left-hand side. So easiest way I've always done it is just with air, and it's a simple thing. You just need to have air pressure. Take a little sharp nozzle and tuck it in, and pull as you're putting air in. And then on the back side, and that's all it is.
Presto.
Alright, wanted to show you guys kind of a situation I found when putting this on that wasn't in the instruction manual. So with the V2, I'm sure it's whether it's the Panigale or the Streetfighter, when you're putting in the left side grip, you're taking off the other grip like we just showed, then you're taking off the spacer to hold this on to the bar without it spinning, so it's completely smooth inside here, so if you just put it on, it just spins freely. So there are 2 holes, one on the top and one on the bottom, right on top of each other. The kit comes with 2 3mm screws. Then if you take a look here, if you pull this part back, you see there's a hole on that side and a hole on the other side. So what you need to do is you basically first put the bolts in the handlebar, and you're going to need to thread them in. So what I usually do is like 2 turns in, 1 turn, or 2 turns back, and just keep on going down until it becomes nice and smooth, going in and out, both the top and the bottom, and then take them back out. Then you're going to put the spacer on that comes with the kit that aligns it just perfectly for these bolts to fit. Then you put this on, then we'll be putting we'll pull this back, and then we'll put the screws in, and that will tighten it up and lock this down. After that, we'll go through and running the cable. Okay, so I got the well, let me back up. First, you want to put the spacer on. We were able to put the same spacer that was on previously back on, so that just slides on, and then you put the grip on. Once you slide the grip on, you can see there's 1 screw on the top, and the other screw is on the bottom, literally 12 o'clock from that one. And then you just push this aside. Then you get your wire. Now we're going to run the wires down. Now the 2 wires, you can see here is the connector. And these connectors go into these 2 plugs right here. So you remove these 2 plugs, run the connectors through, tie everything down, use the supplied straps to hug everything up, and we should be good to go. Okay, so now I want to show you that we have everything assembled. We got the bar ends on, and you can see how the wire is tucked in right there. And we'll go on this side. And so this wire comes through and is looped around and tied up. And same with the other side, comes through, looped around and tied up behind here. And they plug into these 2 plugs right here. So then you just make sure everything is tied tight, not pinching, not binding. And we'll go on to this side. Now remember, this side has not only does it has the small wire, but it also has the large wire that goes down here. So it runs through this way on the top, comes back through in between there and there, and plugs in. So that is the actual plug. It goes right here, and then you have to, they go there. Yep, right here. So you have to actually do a zip tie. So you come through, and it's the top zip tie. Then it runs through, and then if you go over on this side, you can see where it's plugged in. And then you put this one back in its holder, and you can see it just snaps right in. Make sure all the wires are good and secure. And now we're going to start basically putting the bodywork back on. But I also want to let you know here on the throttle, they give you a bunch of these, more than you'll probably need. But then I also put a zip tie right here to make it so it's secure. So you can see it moves, but doesn't get caught up on anything, and works just fine. Okay, so now we're starting to assemble everything back together. We put the coolant tank back. Remember, that's 3 bolts, and then when you get it mounted, make sure you run the coolant line. There's a recessed area right here. That you actually make sure this tubing is actually recessed in it. Next, we're going to put on the side panel, and remember when we were taking it off, it has those tabs that actually go behind a couple areas, and then you have these 2 screws that screw in right there and screw in right there. The other thing we did is we went ahead and put on the front headlights, so that's already on as well. Next is the bodywork. Hey guys, I wanted to show you, we got everything back together. So you can see here are the new grips, and can't really tell until you see down here. You can see the wire coming out of it right up here and going down. So it's not really too noticeable. So it is going down through this loom and tucked inside here. Now same with the driver's side, or excuse me, the throttle side. It comes down, goes right through there. And throttle side is a little more noticeable, but not much. I added an additional zip tie right here, mainly because they did that when they actually put it on my Streetfighter V4S at the dealership when it was installed. So you can see it still has plenty of room, no issue, nice clean look. So next step is to take it to whoever can program it. We're going to take it to the dealer because we have to do a recall on the rear brake, but that's about it. Next step is, like I said, get it programmed. But that is the install. You can see we got the panel back on, side piece back on, and don't forget this piece goes on too. So that's it. Hope that was helpful, and leave me a comment or a suggestion or anything that's helpful or any question, and we'll hopefully be able to answer it for you. Stay tuned for the next video.